We are here with Guido Möller and the Wacom. Can you talk about your new product and the event in Paris?
Yes, thank you for being interviewed. And what we show here is our new product range, and we're focusing here on our interactive pen displays. So that means where you can work directly on screen. So you can use the pen to work directly on screen. So very close to traditional pen and paper experience. And we have more tablets here. As you could see there, we have our traditional tablets. But as we know from people coming to an event, it's much easier for them to directly immediately start by using our product, by using a pen and use some software, and you can directly start naturally to draw, sketch, model, whatever. And what we are doing here is we are also giving the equipment for the masterclass art battle, for the sketch battle, and for the 2D and 3D battles. Yeah, if you go a bit into detail, we have our Cintiq product line, which is here. It's a Cintiq 27. It's the largest and biggest product. It's almost like a drawing table. It's a complete flat surface with a high resolution screen, with a high color confidence, so you can hardware color calibrate it, and you use the Wacom Pro pen to work directly on screen. And as you probably know, all the Wacom pens have pressure levels, so if you press harder and softer, you can adjust opacity, line width, or any other feature. And on the other side, we have a Cintiq 22, which is a slightly smaller model. It looks more like a monitor. It has a different stand where you can rotate and tilt it completely flat. And what is quite unique, you see in the middle, they look like a small Cintiq, but they are. Okay, you can also draw and paint directly on screen, but the unique thing with this one, there is a PC built in. So they're running their own PC with Windows operating system. And what makes them different from other multimedia tablets in the market is that they are very powerful and completely tailored to the needs of the creative people. You have the same technology as on the Cintiq, so you use the same pen performance. You have a high resolution screen, and you can run all your professional software. You can run Photoshop, you can run ZBrush, you can even run some light 3D software like Maya and 3D Studio Max on this one. And so we give all the attendees here the opportunity to test all our products, which is very important because you can tell a lot of stories about the Cintiq, but if you give the attendees the pen here, draw like on paper, and that is the magic which comes through, and then they said, wow, it's really very close to the pen and paper experience, and that's why we are here.
Wacom is the world leader for this sector of device.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the next step? What do you think the next step of Wacom?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because maybe now we have the big screen. It's not that you can create a very, very large screen, but maybe the evolution is another.
Yeah, they are actually. This is actually an interesting topic because, as you mentioned, Wacom, as a Japanese company, is doing these products since more than 30 years now. So since 30 years we are focusing on the pen-based and touch-based machine input. And of course we are thinking always what could be next. Because it's obvious that, okay, you can do the screens, you can do bigger and can do more pressure levels. But we're also looking deeper into the future and say, okay, what could be the input device we could have next? And I cannot tell too much about this one, but we have a whole group of people doing the whole day looking what could be the next cool thing in the interface device. And there can be multiple things. There can be the closer integration between our hardware and software. There can be tools like this, which is the remote control. And at the moment, you can control things like the buttons, you can scroll, you can zoom, but it could be cool to have more intelligence into a device like this. For example, to use it as a ruler or use it as a kind of helping instrument, as a sidekicks, and which interferes directly with the software. That could be something which we are looking into the future. Definitely, this is something. So it is also important to mention that we work very closely with the software companies like Adobe, like Autodesk, and share ideas in a very early phase.
Also, another, sorry if I interrupt you. Another aspect is maybe Wacom is very good for concept artists, for modeling, for example, ZBrush, Maya, but maybe some people like FX artists is not very comfortable because work with maybe in the future also FX artists can use this.
Yes, definitely, and that's what I mean. So the problem is at the moment the software used by FX artists is really having the good old mouse interface. So it's made for mouse use or for cursor movement, and so that's why we are working with these companies to go the next step, to give them also a new, more friendly UI, touch-friendly UI, with also for high-resolution screens where you can do navigational things with gestures or using your finger to touch, and use the pen to do the precise work. And it could be very cool for an animator, for example, to draw simply a path for the animation. And this is something where we work very closely with the software companies to make sure that we are able to give them the instruments to make their software even more appropriate for the artists, to make it more natural and more easy to use.
I try to use with Houdini, it's working very fine.
Yeah.
With 3rs Max, no.
Yes,
because I am a FX artist and I work with particles, with very difficult. But yes, maybe if you change software, change the mentality,
Exactly.
can develop also and help Wacom.
Yeah, because this is a very important point, change the mentality of the user. Because if you mention 3D Studio Max, if you work with 3D Studio Max for many years, you are used to your current keyboard mouse workflow. And if Autodesk would do a very radical change in terms of user interface, a lot of people would say, wow, what is this? I cannot use this anymore. So it has to be very subtle, and you have to have good arguments why to change this one. But this change is ongoing. For example, in the latest version of 3D Studio Max, you can already use zoom gestures to view or to manipulate the viewport. This is just the first step, but it will evolve with version to version. And of course, you mentioned Houdini. Companies like Autodesk are very big, the big companies, and they have a massive list on features they want to add to the software. Smaller companies, like the guys behind Houdini, they're more flexible. So for them, it's more easy to integrate. And for these companies, it's a chance to be different than the others, to have a very nice new user interface, and that makes them more flexible.
And also, I know some guys is a very artist and is sponsored by Wacom. There is the program, or how can people become Wacom artists? There is
Yes.
What is the process?
To be honest, we don't really have a process. So we call them Wacom evangelists, Wacom ambassadors, Wacom experts, and it's almost like a coincidence. So we meet these people on events like this. We say, wow, this is cool stuff. Can we talk? And for us, it's very important to get access to these people because they give us input, valuable input. What can we do better with our products? They tell us, okay, this is good, and this I don't like, and we can link this to our product development people. And the product development guys are so thankful that they get this input. And then we also invite these experts for better testing on our products. And this makes us very, I would say, quite strong, because Wacom is a small company on a global level. We are just 1,000 people, but that makes us so flexible. And every new product, you can be very sure that we have integrated a lot of feedback from our users. So, for example, this one. The older product, we had the buttons on the bezel. And a lot of people did not use them because they don't wanted them here, they wanted them here, there, or at any other place. And it was just not flexible enough. So we decided, after we get the feedback from the customers or from our experts, okay, put it into a remote. And you can put the remote here, there, any place. And this is a good example how we listen to our experts, ambassadors, and people.
It's more important also listening to people, because some company don't take a feedback.
Yes.
You can send a feedback, but maybe you go to trash because
Exactly.
the Wacom is different.
Yes, we have to be. We have to be different because we are making user interfaces. We are doing the tools where the artist works the whole day on a project, and he's really, he earns money with his projects, be it a freelancer or be it in a company. So the tool have to be 100% perfect, and it would be very foolish from us to not listen to our customers, to ignore the wishes and requirements of our customers. So we cannot afford this. So we have to listen to our customers, and we are more than happy also to help our customers to get better, to get them more creative, and to get them also more productive.
Okay. And last question, there is the print machine. It's can you talk about it?
Yes. This is just a test. So a couple of weeks ago we started to work very closely with the people from 3D Systems. And I have a very close connection to my counterpart in Germany and also to the European guys. And because we know from customers that if you are in a typical workflow, we all know the 2D workflow. You have a Wacom tablet, you have Photoshop, and you have a printer, a 2D printer. And we have a lot of people now going from 2D into 3D by just even in the area of concept artists. They came from Photoshop, now they're using tools like ZBrush or Mondo or 3D Code. And what can be better just to model something and then you have it on the screen. Yes, it's nice, but the human being is a very tactile being. So you have to hold it in your hand, for example, you have to feel it, you have to move it like this, you have to see, oh, this is nice. And this is an opportunity which we did not have a couple of years ago. So only with the 3D printers, you can have your things like this in 1 hour, and you can say, oh wow, that's nice, but I have to change here. And this is what we are trying here, to make a workflow of 3D software, a Wacom tablet, and a 3D printer. And it works very well, I have to say. Yeah.
Okay, really, last question.
Okay.
What do you think of this event?
What I really like with this event, is that it is a very, it's big, but it's not so big. So, and everybody is tangible. So you can talk to the speakers, you can talk to the lecturers, you can meet the customers, and you have these official sessions where you can learn a lot, but also within in the breaks and in the evenings you can talk in a very natural way to these people. And these assembly of creative people makes kind of this event very special. And that's why we love to go there, and also to show the people our products, to let them play with our products. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview.
See you maybe the next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Looking forward. Thank you.